Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 patch 1.2. So yesterday CDPR released a list of changes which are coming in the patch 1.2. I already made a video about that, so if you want to check out all the changes which they included, you can check out the video somewhere. It's gonna appear right here. So today I'm going to give you my review of patch 1.2, what I was able to deduct from playing on PC. I played yesterday, I played today. I've also have been reading from people and their experiences on PlayStation and Xbox, and we're gonna be going through that. We're gonna be talking about all of the changes, but it seems that the general consensus around this patch and everything that people have been saying on my Discord everywhere is that this is a good foundation, this is a good step forward for Cyberpunk 2077 and for CDPR, so we're gonna be going into that. If you could please click that like and subscribe button because you do help the channel that way with the algorithm, that would be great. So without further wasting your time, let's get into the video. So first things first, I want to talk about frame rate and general stability. So I said in my previous videos that the version of the game I had when I was reviewing Cyberpunk before it came out was running better than all of the versions after it. And patch 1.2, at least when it comes to frame rate for me, for PC, because I don't have a really good GPU anyway, I have 1070, I wanted to test the game on a better GPU, but it's impossible to find any GPUs now. I'm still getting somewhat the same frame rate on 1070 in the city, so in like the city center, maybe Haywood, something like that, I'm gonna be getting maybe 20, maybe 15 frames per second. In other parts of the city, the frame rate is somewhat okay. When I'm walking, the frame rate is okay. Sometimes when I'm fighting, the frame rate is not the best, but when I'm driving through the city center and all of that, like the frame rate can really dip. When it comes to, you know, people spawning, respawning cars and all of that, that's also pretty much the same. I haven't seen any differences in that. Now driving, on the other hand, is much better. Like, they said before that in that teaser that they actually fixed how the car handles when you're going around the curves and everything, which is so much better. I haven't had a single issue so far after patch 1.2 where my car is going to spaz out. So generally, all of the cars that I've been driving in the game are acting good. So they're not gonna start spazzing out sometimes. I mean, frame rate can still drop. General collision with other vehicles is still not good because I got my car stuck in a different vehicle when I was driving. I was like, it was funny to see, but the general collision with other vehicles is not still the best. But overall, at least when it comes to driving, there is a good improvement on that end. Now, what I also noticed is that the city is much more populated. Now, in most areas, I'm still getting problems with not having any NPCs or not having any vehicles at all, but in some areas, like sometimes, especially in the city center, there are going to be a lot of vehicles on the street, there are going to be people, but again, you still have that issue where cars are going to despawn, then respawn, then also people behind you. You're gonna be looking at an NPC, you're going to turn around, that NPC is going to be gone. So at least when it comes to those issues, obviously they're still there. Now, I'm not saying CDPR hasn't done anything. Obviously they fixed a lot of stuff, and that's the thing when you have a game which released before it was supposed to. You have to fix a lot of underlying issues that you don't really see as soon as you get into the game. Now, obviously some of the things I had, like interaction with other NPCs, etc, so far I haven't seen any T-posing on that end, so at least that's better. But I did see on Reddit that still people are posting that some NPCs are T-posing still. I also had a huge bug before patch 1.2 where Johnny's dialogue line was going over and over and over. That's why I haven't been playing much Cyberpunk, because every time I load in my save, I will have Johnny talking over and over, and the subtitle that he had actually was overlaying other subtitles, and it was just impossible to play. Now, luckily with patch 1.2 that problem has been removed, so that tells me that a lot of issues, like smaller issues that not a lot of people had, have been fixed, so that gives me hope for later patches. Now, obviously I wasn't expecting too much from this patch, at least when it comes to frame rate and all of that, at least on my system. Now, as I said, I'm running 1070 from Nvidia, and you know, as I said, still in some areas of the city I will be getting very low frame rate, which can sometimes be frustrating. But in some areas now where before I wasn't getting good frame rate, there I've been getting like maybe 5 to 10 more frames, but still on that end it's nothing that crazy. Also, when it comes to stability, I mean, game was crashing before a little bit, but nothing too much, and I didn't have a single crash after I actually updated to patch 1.2. Also, there wasn't any collision with mods, so that was great. When it comes to consoles, what I've seen people talk about, and especially on Reddit, is that generally it's running a bit better. Now, they're still having issues with, you know, people popping in, popping out, cars going around, popping in, popping out. They're still having those issues, and I think those issues are basically present in every single platform, because issues that are present on PlayStation 4 when it comes to that despawning and everything, which is kind of a thing in engine, is also a problem on PC and pretty much every other platform. But at least from what I've been able to hear is that people are their games are much more stable, frame rate is a little bit better, and overall I think this is a good step. Now, obviously that's not all people who have consoles, so if you have any feedback on that, especially if you have consoles, please tell me down below your experience, if this patch actually helped you, if this patch made it worse. But at least when it comes to issues, patch 1.2 doesn't have the same problems as patch 1.1, which also had a lot of issues when it came out. Like, it created so many more bugs. Now, obviously it's impossible for patch 1.2 not to create more bugs, but it does seem that they did actually do more testing, because I haven't seen people report that this patch broke their game or anything like that. Now let's talk about the cops and wanted system. So I've been testing how police works in the game a little bit, and I mean, it's a little bit better now, but it's not really a huge change, because what basically they did is they increased the spawn radius of police. So when I did actually start a wanted level, I did get a drone first, which I knocked out because that goddamn drone was following me everywhere. I knocked him out, and then I actually had cops spawn still around me though, but they were spawning a little bit further away. And that was about it. Now, the thing is, because cops now spawn a little bit further than they did before, sometimes I actually just stood in one place and my wanted level disappeared, because it took them so much to arrive on the scene. It seems that the timer for the wanted level ran out or something happened. But when it comes to losing wanted level and all of that, it's pretty much the same. Just go around the corner and that's about it. So the only thing which is less annoying now is that you don't have cops spawning that close to you, but they are still spawning around you. And I doubt we are going to see any huge changes to the wanted level still, if those changes are made at all. Maybe in a DLC, maybe in an expansion, but don't expect anything regarding the police anytime soon. This is basically just a smaller fix, in my opinion, to, you know, give you some breathing room when you're fighting the police. But overall, it's still pretty much the same on that end, and I didn't really want to have too many interactions with the cops in the game, because again, they still do spawn around me. I mean, also when it comes to miscellaneous things, audio is much better, the game is a lot more responsive, overall movement is a lot more responsive. Now, I know they removed some glitch where you could like dash and go fast. I don't know, I always use the double jump, so it's okay for me. But it does seem people found a workaround around that. So yeah, overall, my final thoughts would be that, you know, this patch 1.2 definitely serves as a good foundation. As like, okay, we started something, everything works, people are kinda happy around this. Let's see what we can do for the future, and obviously I wouldn't be expecting the next huge updates at least for the next 2 to 3 months. What they're gonna be doing now is they're gonna be releasing hotfixes for potentially solving issues which come up after this patch was deployed, but I don't think we're gonna see anything big for at least 2 to 3 months. And look, it does seem that people are generally more happy about the game. Shame the situation actually happened in the first place. More delays would definitely benefit the game greatly. Now, it is what it is now. They're trying to, you know, get out of this situation that they're in, and it's gonna take a couple of months for Cyberpunk to actually shine, or to at least, you know, be playable in that sense where you're not gonna be having those FPS issues or FPS drops, etc, etc, when the first expansions come, you know, DLCs, whatever. And you know, what's gonna happen now is that, okay, you're fixing the underlying issues, maybe Sony is gonna bring back the game on the store if that happens, and on that you can build stuff up. I do hope they do release a lot of stuff which people are requesting, because ultimately, why not release that stuff? Makes sense. And we'll see what happens. But overall, good step, positive step. I'm kinda happy, but you know, still, you know, we'll see what happens for the future. And tell me down below in the comments, what do you think about this patch? What do you think about this game so far? Is it too late for you to go back to this game? Are you happy now? Did you go back to the game? Did you like the update? Tell me down below. I will be going through your comments. Good steps forward. We shall see what happens in the future. Control your hype, because that's the best way to get out of this. Just control your hype and we'll see what happens. You know, I like the game. I said that long time ago. I really like the game, but it's not easy to love Cyberpunk, and I know that a lot of people feel that way. You know, you can like the game, but it's not as easy to love it as The Witcher 3. It's not, let's face it, it's not. So, you know, it's still salvageable. It can still be a great game when you add a lot of things, and we'll see what CDPR is gonna be doing with that. But at least some positive news for the community, because honestly, I got tired of all the negative news, and at least we got something positive, and things are moving forward. For how long? We shall see. So this is my review of patch 1.2. Hopefully you like it. Again, tell me down below what you feel, how do you feel about it, what do you think about it, and also don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Check us out on Twitter and Discord. I do have Odyssey, which is a YouTube alternative if you want to check me out there, and I do have Patreon if you want to support the channel in an extra way. And huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.